Today I'll be talking about a lot of questions, a lot of common questions that people get when choosing ICT for A-levels, right? So I'll be addressing those questions, and I'll tell you whether choosing ICT is good for you or not, and if you are going to attend the university, then what can you do with ICT, and about different fields. Now, you have streams also in A-levels: arts, commerce, mathematics, technology. You have different streams. So I'll talk about them as well. So to start with, I'll give you an introduction. Okay, I'll give you an introduction on what you get with ICT. And then I'll be addressing different questions. Okay. After talking about those things, I'll give you time to ask your questions. If you have any questions, if you want to ask me something, then I'll give you time for that. You can ask me your questions. Usually, I ask this question from students, especially on the first day. Why did you choose ICT for A-levels? But given the situation here, we are not in talking terms. I'm gonna assume. Okay, now I have heard from several students so far, right? And I'll tell you how the questions were answered by other students. Some students, for the question, why did you choose ICT for A-levels? Some students said, I like ICT. I like ICT. Okay, that's one reason. Some students said, it's good for my future. Right, acceptable. And some students said, I'm going to go in the field of IT, future. So I'm doing ICT, right? Good. And some students said they are doing it for the Z score. They're doing it for the Z score, right? Okay, that's also a reason. And some other students said they are doing ICT because they need to know about technology, the knowledge of ICT. They are not doing, they are not going to go in the field of IT, but they need the knowledge of IT, so they're doing it. Some students said like that. So likewise, there may be different reasons for you to choose ICT for A-levels right now. So whatever your reason is, whatever the reason you have, now even you might have a reason, right, for choosing ICT. So whatever your reason is, there are certain reasons which you should not have. There are certain reasons by which you should not be doing ICT. Like, for example, if your parents forced you to do ICT for A-levels, it's not going to work. Okay, it's not going to work, right? If somebody, not only your parents, if somebody forced you into choosing ICT for A levels, it won't work for you. You will not do well. Why? Because you don't like it. Somebody else forced you to. So it's like that, right? I mean, real life, think about it. If you don't like some food, if you don't like some food, your parents, let's say they're forcing you to eat it, like, ow, yeah, okay. Even if they push it through your mouth, are you gonna like it? Obviously, no, right? Somebody's forcing some food into your mouth. If you don't like it, you're not gonna enjoy it. So if somebody forced you into taking ICT, please don't do it. Please give yourself some credit. Okay, give yourself some respect and do what you like to do. Okay, that will make you go forward. But if you chose ICT, if you chose ICT for some reason, then that's okay. That's good. That's awesome. Why? Because that was your choice. You know, a lot of a lot of people nowadays, a lot of people are waiting for a reason. Even students, even students trying to find a reason for the mistakes. You make a mistake and try to find a reason to justify it. You don't have to justify. If it was a mistake, okay, admit it. You made a mistake, fine, fine, it's okay. It's a mistake. Say sorry to yourself. Say sorry to yourself and keep moving. That's what you could do. That's the best you could do. All right. So when you're choosing ICT, see, um, benefits, you have a lot. Now, I don't have to tell you one by one because now you guys are grown up, mature, um, you know, you could say youth, right? So you come under that category. So you know what technology is doing nowadays, right? The world is full of technology. I mean, literally, we cannot do anything without technology, right? So it's up to you. It's up to you to choose what benefit you're going to talk about. All right. So here I'm going to talk about your future. Okay. Any field nowadays, in any sector, just can you think of a sector where ICT is not used? It's literally everywhere. ICT is everywhere. Okay. Coming to the point. Now, you are here to know about the ICT class, right? So for A levels, choosing ICT for A levels, you can choose ICT as one of the main subjects for commerce, arts, mathematics, or physical science, or technology. So in all these streams, commerce, arts, maths, and tech. In all these four streams, you can choose ICT as your main subject, one of the three. Okay, now for A levels, you have three main subjects, right? Three main subjects, and two other. What are the two other subjects? General knowledge and general English. And you have three main subjects. So if you are doing commerce, for the commerce field, you can choose accounting, business studies, economics, and ICT. You can choose any three from these four subjects, right? Any three, literally any three, okay? But you have to check with your school. If you are going to school, for A levels, you have to check with your school also. Some schools, they have some rules, restrictions. You cannot do ICT, you cannot do economics, you cannot do business studies, and if you choose business studies and economics and ICT, your school might say no, you have to do accountings and business studies anyways. You can only choose between economics and ICT. There are certain schools like that. So if you are going to school, okay, if you're gonna go to school for A levels, because there are many private candidates, okay, many students nowadays. Many students they follow only the classes. They do A levels privately, and it's not a mistake. So you can choose. You can choose between um, economics and ICT, and choose the other two subjects, accounting and business studies. That is, if you wish. That is for commerce. If you are doing arts, any three subjects, right? Any three subjects. You can choose any three subjects, and you can choose ICT as one of them. You can choose ICT as one of them for arts. Very flexible. And if you are doing physical science, mathematics, you can do combined maths, physics, and ICT, or you can go with combined maths, chemistry, and ICT. You can do it, but not biology. Okay, I mean you can do with biology, but no. Normally, people go for biological stream to go forward in the medical sector, right? So if you're going to go forward in the medical sector, then I would not recommend uh, doing ICT because our state universities, they require the three main subjects for biology, chemistry, and physics for medical faculty. So if you are not going to go into medical faculty, if you're not targeting medical faculty, it's okay. Even for bio, you can choose ICT, right? If you're not targeting a medical degree, I mean MBBS, something like that, okay, yeah, fine. You can choose ICT as one of the three subjects in for biology. And if you are doing tech stream, okay, if you are following the technological stream, and a lot of people have asked me about this. For technological stream, can you do ICT in English medium? Why? Because the other two subjects, E-Tech or Biotech, E-Tech and B-Tech, okay, and SFT. Now, if you're doing engineering technology, E-Tech is one subject, SFT is the other subject, ICT is the third subject. If you're doing biotechnology, then see, B-Tech is one subject, SFT is the other subject, and ICT is the third subject. So the problem is, in Sri Lanka, up to now, we don't have English medium. Not even a syllabus is there. Even the syllabus is not there for English medium tech stream. There's no English medium tech stream in Sri Lanka. Either it is in Tamil medium or Sinhala medium. Okay. So SFT and E-Tech or SFT and B-Tech, you have to do in Tamil medium or Sinhala medium, and you can do ICT in English medium. That's possible. Okay. It's up to you. It's up to you. But if you are learning ICT, especially for A levels, I would not recommend going for Tamil medium or Sinhala medium, because I have a very good reason for you. Because after A levels, everywhere it is totally in English. After A levels, everywhere, every institute has higher education programs in English, except one or two. So keep that in mind. Okay. So that is why I would recommend doing ICT in English medium, because the future, the higher education programs, all of these degree programs and stuff like that, they are in English. Okay. And what's the purpose? Yeah. If you learn ICT in Tamil or Sinhala, then okay, just answer this question. You're doing ICT in Sinhala medium or Tamil medium. Do you use your smartphone in Tamil or Sinhala? Will you use your smartphone in Tamil language or Sinhala language? That doesn't need answering, right? I'm not going to talk about this. You decide. You decide. Okay. And the next thing I wanted to tell you is, when you're choosing between schools and privates, if you are going to go to school for A levels, totally fine. But you don't have to stick to your school itself. If your school doesn't provide something that you like, you're going to do languages, for example. You're going to do languages for A levels. Your school doesn't have certain teachers or subjects, but another school has. Go to that school. Why not? Go to that school. And even in your school, if they let you, now let's say, for example, in certain schools, they don't have teachers for certain subjects, even for ICT. That is the reason I started teaching back then, like 9 years ago, or maybe 10, I can't remember. Um, so the reason why I started teaching is also the same reason. A lot of students have this problem. You don't have proper teachers at schools for ICT. So it's okay. It's okay. If your school allows you to do ICT, you can do it. Right? There are many students who have done that, because personally, I could give you the index numbers also. I didn't get them ready for this session. Sorry about that. But I could give you, for double checking if you want. There are many students of mine who were private candidates, and have scored, say this, 3 A's straight, first try, first attempt, first try, 3 A's for A levels. And most of them were commerce students, to be honest. Accounting, business studies, ICT. Private candidate, they didn't go to school, and they did not go for physical classes either. The last month, A-level results were released. Now, when these students messaged me about their results, I was like, oh my God. One student was district ranked 28 in Colombo district. District rank 28. 3 A's. Accounting, business studies, and ICT. So I was like, did you do this online? District rank 20, that's what mattered to me. Now, then I messaged that student after congratulating her. I messaged her and I asked, didn't you follow any other classes? She said, no, no, sir, I was just following your classes and some other online classes for accounting and business studies. Wow. Wow. See, that's awesome, isn't it? So, I mean, if you have the willpower, if you have that dedication, you could do it. Nobody's stopping you. And those students are living examples of that. I was really, I was really happy about it. And see, they were private candidates. They didn't go to school either. They didn't go to school and they didn't go to these physical classes either online. So that's what I'm saying. If you are ready, if you are ready to put the work, if you are ready to put your efforts, you could do it. But it takes different time periods for different students. Okay, not every child is the same. Accept it. No, that is one of the biggest mistakes every student makes in life. One or two are exceptions. They figure it out. Most of the students, like 99% of the students, they compare. A lot of students compare themselves with another student, with another person. That's the biggest mistake you could do. You know, you were raised by parents, different parents. See, that child's parents are different, your parents are different. Your background is different, that child's background is different. Your friends are different, that person's friends are different. Could be. Okay, and your childhood was different. That student's childhood was different. The people that you mingle with are different. That person's circle is different. Your DNA is different, and that person's DNA is different. So, how could you compare yourself with another student, with another person? Not possible, guys. Don't do that to yourself. Please don't compare yourself to another person. That is the biggest mistake you could ever do to you. You are unique. You are special. Don't compare yourself to somebody else. That is the biggest mistake a lot of teachers do. Now, if you don't score really well like the others, they compare. Okay, if that student can do this, why can't you? Haven't you heard of this? This happens, right? This happens a lot in schools. Big mistake. Never compare yourself to another person. Whom should you compare yourself to? You have to compare yourself with you. If you compare yourself with you, how do you do that? If you want to compare yourself with yourself, how do you do it? You analyze your capacity, your abilities. Now, if it is about scoring marks, okay, think about your marks. How were you doing earlier? Last year, what was your marks? Okay. This year, have you improved? No? Okay, then work on it. Try. Try harder. That's all that matters, okay? Don't compare like I'm getting only 40 marks, that student is getting 90 marks, 95 marks. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You're getting 40 marks. Earlier you got 30 and now you got 40. Wow. That's good. That's good. That's improvement. Some people are very good at understanding, IQ levels very high. So if you say something, they grab it quickly. They can understand quickly. Okay, extraordinary. Some students are slow learners. If we say something, if I tell you something, you need some time to understand. Okay, that's fine. That is still fine. Do you need time? Okay, take your time. Take your time, analyze it, understand it, and work on yourself. That is how you improve. Don't put yourself down by comparing yourself to another person. Please don't do that. That's how you improve. Okay, you improve by comparing yourself to yourself. Okay, think about yourself some time ago. How was I? How was I last month? How was I last year? Now, what am I doing? How am I now? If I want to develop in another 6 months, in another 1 year, I should be like this. Then plan it, work for it. That's how you improve yourself. But you can take a person as an example, a role model, that is fine. You can just think about people, successful people, and take them as a role model, follow some of their methodologies. That is fine. But do not belittle yourself. I wanted to tell you that very much. Next, I'll tell you about certain things. There are opinions, parents, what they think of ICT, what other teachers, they say about ICT, and about the university entrance, Z-score, those things. You might hear a lot of negativity about ICT. The ones that I told you, the negative opinions of ICT. You might hear from your school teachers and some other outsiders, maybe, or maybe even your parents sometimes. Some of them would tell you ICT is a new subject. Don't choose ICT because it's something new, it is challenging. Why do you want to do something that is challenging? It's going to be hard. Um, you're going to be finding it difficult. And some other negative opinions, even some teachers might talk you into leaving ICT. Don't do ICT. There's no teacher in our school. Do this, do that. Some of them might say, you don't get marks in ICT. ICT students don't get much marks, so don't do ICT. ICT is so and so. Okay, there are a lot of negative opinions. I'll tell you why they tell you those opinions. I'll give you the reasons. One thing is, for example, okay, if you choose ICT with commerce, accountings, business studies, and ICT instead of accounting, business studies, and economics. Without choosing economics, if you choose ICT, there's a big difference. There's a big difference. What's the big difference? I'll tell you. Now, recently there was I don't know how many of you saw those things. On social media, there was a comparison. Um, one student, one student had chosen accountings, business studies, and economics. Another student had chosen accounting, business studies, ICT. Accounting, business studies, economics, and the other student, accounting, business studies, ICT. Now, the student who chose economics had 2AB, 2AB results. A-level results was 2AB, B for economics, right? B for economics. The student who chose ICT, The student who chose ICT had 2AC. 2AC. Okay, C for ICT. All right. C for ICT. Other two subjects, accounting and business studies, A. Okay. Economics, B, ICT. The student is C. But the Z score, right? The Z score of the economics student, right? The Z score of the economics student was lesser than the Z score of the ICT student. The student who had chosen ICT for LLs had a bigger Z score than the student who had chosen economics. Just think about it. 2A, B for economics, C for ICT, still the Z score is more than here, more than the economics B result. That is the power of ICT in your university entrance. Choosing ICT as the third subject helps you in your university entrance, even though you don't have an A. But that doesn't mean you should not try for A, okay? You have to try for the best. Because who wants to be regular, right? You are unique. You are unique. You were born unique. You have a unique DNA, right? So you are unique, yeah. You have unique skills. You have different skills from others. Try to become the best version of yourself. Try to improve little by little. For some students, learning everything in ICT will take 2 years. For some students, learning everything in ICT will take only 1 year. Some students could do it within 6 months, but different abilities, no problem. Even if it takes 2 years for you to learn the whole thing, you're improving. If you don't give up, if you keep trying, you are constantly improving yourself. That is what you have to work for. I'm talking about you. That's it, guys. That's what matters. At the end of the day, the end of the 2 years that you're going to go with, that's what matters. Whether you improved or not. So, yeah, ICT is helpful for your Z score. And nowadays, there are more courses in the universities when you have chosen ICT as the third subject. Earlier, it was different. Now, 2 years ago, it was different. 2 years ago, limited courses if you had chosen ICT. But then everything changed. They changed the whole thing. If you choose ICT for A levels as your main subject, one of the main subjects, you have a lot of courses at the state university and private universities. Of course, I don't have to tell you, right? Open. It's open. So yeah, it's a it's a big selection you have. It's up to you. Choosing is up to you. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you how to choose this and that. Mm-mm. That's that's for you. So yeah, I have told you about that. I usually tell my students about an incident from my life. From my life. Okay, when I was a kid, like I think grade 1 or 2, I cannot exactly remember. When I was like grade 1 or 2, okay, like 5 or 6 years old, I had this watch. Maybe my dad bought me. I don't remember. It was a digital watch. The Mickey Mouse thing. Those days, Mickey Mouse was famous. So I had a Mickey Mouse watch, and it was digital. So at that time, I knew numbers. So my mom had taught me how to tell the time on the watch. It was digital, right? So mom told me you have to tell the numbers on the left first and then the numbers on the right. That's how you say the time. So okay, so I knew how to say the time by looking at the watch. So one day we had visitors. I was wearing the watch. I was wearing that watch, and we had visitors, relatives had visited us, and one of them saw this. One of them saw this watch, and they asked me. Okay, that person asked me what the time was. What is the time? Oh, you're wearing a nice watch. What is the time? So I was like, I knew how to say the time. So I said, it is this. Let's say 8:30. 8:30 is the time. So that person quickly looked at the time in the clock and double checked whether the time is correct, whether I told the correct time, whether I said the correct time. So he's like, oh yeah, good. You know how to say the time. Wow, that's awesome. And they clapped for me. They was like, okay, you could say the time. That's great. I felt like, oh wow, I got some recognition. I got some recognition. People are appreciating me because I know how to say the time. But I saw that person. I saw that person looking at the clock. I saw that person looking at the clock and verifying. So I thought to myself, I thought to myself, even when I grow up, even when I grow up, I'm going to buy digital watches. Even when I grow up, I'm going to buy digital watches. Why? I should not show others that I don't know how to read analog time. Because because at that time I did not know how to read the time on an analog clock. At that time I did not know how to read an analog clock. I did not know how to say the time by looking at a clock. But I know now. I know how to read the digital time. So I thought to myself, I can still remember when I was that age, I that at that day, at that moment, I thought to myself, even when I grow up, I'm gonna buy digital watches so that people will not know that I don't know to read clocks. I don't know to read analog time. Now I rarely wear digital watches. Mostly it is analog. Mostly I wear analog clocks. I mean watches. Think about it. Until you learn something, you have that fear. It's normal, guys. It's pretty normal. Okay. It is very normal to have that feeling as a human being. Until you master something, until you learn something, it seems hard. It is a little bit scary. You might feel scared. You might be afraid of that sometimes. But it's okay to have that feeling. See, I had that fear. I did not know how to read the clock. Okay, it was a fear. But now, when I look at the time, do I do it as a work? Like, where is the small needle? Where is the big needle? Do I count like no? When I look at the watch, I know the time. How? Because now we know that. Now we know it. Okay. Now we have mastered it. So until you learn something, until you master something, it is like that. It will feel hard. Everything in life is like that. Not only ICT, okay? Not only ICT. Everything in life seems difficult until you learn about it, until you master it. So that's the key. That is the key, guys. Just remember that. Okay. So nothing is hard. Nothing is hard. It just takes time. For some of you, mastering something will take months, months of time. For some of you, mastering the same thing will take only a few weeks. Again, not everyone is the same. Not every person is the same. That is what I told you, right? So embrace yourself first. Embrace your abilities and then work towards developing yourself. Okay. Good luck with that. Everything is easy if you're putting the effort. Okay. So even ICT is like that. You can do it if you try. If you do your part, I'll do my part. We'll go together. I can push you, but if you are not moving forward, why should I push you? So if you are ready to move forward, I will help and I will push you forward. Let's go together. That is when we can go to higher levels. And especially if you are attending a class, bring one of your friends to that class. Especially your best friend is better. I mean, if they are doing the same subject, okay, don't force them. If your friend is doing the same subject, bring them to the same class that you're going, or join the class where your friend is going to. You need a friend in a class. For what? I'll tell you. There are situations, there are some days where you might not be able to join the class. You might not be able to attend the class. In that situation, your friend should attend the class. Your friend must attend the class. Why? If you are absent, your friend must attend the class. Why? Because after the class, you were absent, right? So you can learn from your friend. You can learn whatever you missed. You can learn from your friend before the next class. Because the reason why a lot of students don't get marks in certain subjects is because they missed classes. They missed lessons. See, now in ICT, when I'm teaching a particular subject, a particular chapter, let's say chapter 5, for example, if I'm teaching chapter 5, you come in the middle. You don't attend two classes. If you don't attend two classes or one class, even one class, you're not attending a class, and then the next class you join, you will not understand. You will not understand after that. Until chapter 5 is over, you will not understand the rest. Then you are in trouble. That is why I'm giving you this advice. If you're not attending the class, ask your friend to surely attend the class and learn it from them before the next class. That is very important, guys. That is one of the major reasons why a lot of students don't get marks for ICT, especially. They don't take ICT seriously. A lot of students don't take ICT seriously, thinking that if you know how to use a smartphone, laptop, desktop, anything, you know how to use these tech gadgets and stuff, okay, I'm good with ICT. No, it's not like that, guys. Wake up. Phones, AirPods, smartwatch, laptop, that's not the ICT you're learning here. That's not the only ICT you have. Okay, you're learning more than that. So take it seriously. Right. Attending classes is very important, especially if you're a private candidate. Okay, and prioritize things. Prioritize things. Which is important? Which is more important? You're spending 2 years of your life for A levels. You're going to spend 2 years of your life for A levels. And are you going to play with it? Are you going to play with those 2 years? Or are you going to be serious? Because 2 years will be gone when 2 years is gone. When 2 years is gone, 2 years will be gone. So, are you going to make use of it? Or are you going to play with it? It's up to you. It's up to you. Okay. You decide that. Right. And the other thing is, a lot of students have this question: do I need a previous knowledge in ICT to do ICT for A levels? Should I have done ICT for O levels to do A level ICT? Do I need O level ICT knowledge? The answer is no. The answer is no. Why? Because for ICT in O levels, it is given as a basket subject. You choose. So, complementary, okay, basket subject. So, if you choose ICT for O levels, that's an additional thing. So, what about the others? What about the students who did not choose ICT for O levels? That would be unfair, right? I mean, if you can only do A level ICT, if you had done ICT for O levels, that would be unfair. So, in A level ICT, we go from the basics again. A level ICT, we go from the basics again, all from the beginning. So, if you have done ICT for O levels already, it might be a little bit boring. that's that's gonna be sure. I mean, might be a little bit boring because you already know stuff. Why? It's the same thing. I'll tell you a few. I'll tell you a few. Grade 10 ICT and grade 11 ICT. I'll compare with A level ICT and I'll tell you. A level ICT chapter 1, A level ICT chapter 1 is the same thing from grade 10 chapter 1 plus a little extra. A level ICT chapter 2 is the same thing from grade 10 chapter 2 plus a little extra. A level ICT chapter 3 is the same thing from grade 10 ICT chapter 3 plus a little extra. A level chapter 4 is grade 10 chapter 4 plus a little extra. A level chapter 5 is grade 10 chapter 5 plus a little extra. A level chapter 6 is a new subject. It has some parts from grade 10 chapter 2 and new stuff. A level chapter 7 is grade 11 chapter 2 plus a little extra. A level chapter 8 is grade 10 chapter 9 plus a little extra. A level chapter 10, no wait, A level chapter 9, right? A level chapter 9 is grade 11 chapter 1 plus a little extra. And A level chapter 10 is grade 10 chapter 5, grade 11 chapter 5 plus a little extra. And A level chapter 11 is totally new. It's a new topic. A level chapter 12, 13, again, new stuff. Right. So, see, same things from O level ICT, but you have some more here. A little extra is there. So, if you have already done ICT for O levels, it's going to be a little bit boring. Other than that, the others, if you haven't done ICT for O levels, you don't have to worry because we're going to learn the same thing. They're going to learn from the basics. All right. So, yeah. And Again, another question that some students get is, do you need a computer? Do you need a computer if you are going to do ICT for A levels? The answer is no and yes. No, because it's not compulsory. Having a computer is not compulsory. But if you have, it's good. It's better. And we would be using practicals. We would be doing practicals from chapter 8 and onwards, mostly. Before that, it's mostly theory. Okay, from chapter 8 onwards, we have practicals. Before that, it's mostly theory. Some parts are there, practical stuff, but mostly theory. From chapter 8 onwards, it's we have practicals. So if you want a computer, if you can afford, you can think about getting a computer. Then we go to that stage, like chapter 7, 8, fine. Before that, not much necessary. Okay, so don't trouble your parents asking for a computer. Okay, and yeah, that's about it. That's almost everything that I wanted to tell you about the introductory stuff. Now I'll tell you how the classes will be conducted. Now I have these physical classes going around, Kandy and Mavanalla, and even some other places, some group classes in Gelioya, Kampala, Tara. But now we are talking about online, right? So I'll tell you how these classes would be conducted online. Like we had today, we'll be having 2 hours for one class, for a class. And after every class, I will be providing you with the recordings. Okay, for after every class, I'll send you the recordings. And these recordings do not have an expiry. These recordings don't have an expiry date, so you can watch as many times as you want. And it will be given to you as a YouTube playlist. I process every recording, every class recording. I remove all the unnecessary parts. I create the recording with only the lesson. So it's very beneficial for the students. It's very beneficial for the students because you can watch again and again. If you forget something, okay, you can go to that link and watch again. It's really useful. That is why online is getting more popular. Online learning is getting more popular because even if you forget something, you can watch the recording again and revise it. In a physical class, you don't have that, right? In a physical class, you learn something and you forget it, it's gone. But online class, this is the benefit. You get to have the recording. You get to get the recording. So if you forget something, if you want to revise, you can watch the videos again. So 2-hour classes, and you will get the recordings after every class, but not immediately. After the class, within like 2 days or 3 days, you will get the recording. And notes, about the notes for A levels. We don't have textbooks for A levels, right? Textbooks are not provided by the government, but they are provided by me. Okay, I provide textbooks. The only textbooks you have for ICT, English medium ICT in Sri Lanka. I provide them. Okay. Isn't it exciting to hear that? Sinhala medium books are there for A-level ICT, but not for English medium. Okay. I provide textbooks. I have compiled all the important notes, all the important stuff from your syllabus and put them into books and made them interactive, easy to learn, summarized. It's like friendly. Okay, so there are 13 chapters for A-level ICT. Okay, there are 13 chapters. So I have printed those chapters as books, the notes as books. Chapter 1 and 2 in one book, 3 and 4 in one book, 5 and 6 in one book, 7, 8 in one book, 9, 10 one book, 11, 12, 13 in another book. So altogether, there are 6 books, notes. So you can get the books delivered to your home itself. Okay, I can arrange for delivery. You can order it from my website, lankanmentor.com. You can go to Lankan Mentor website, go to A-level ICT books section, and you can find the details there. Okay, and or else, if you don't want the printed books, for the printed books you have to pay for them, but for the digital version, the digital notes, you don't have to pay for them. I can provide you with the notes as PDF. All right, I can send you the PDF. You don't have to pay for that. Right, it's up to you. If you wish to get the printed version, you can order them, or else I could give you the PDF. It's up to you. Okay, I have the PDF versions for all the chapters, but the PDF and the book are not the same. Okay, PDF notes and the book are not the same. Right. So books are summarized and easy to read. PDF not summarized, but yeah, colorful. Okay, so that's about the notes. And if you want to ask me any questions during the class, if you get doubts, you can ask me. Okay, you can type it in your chat box, because I don't allow students to unmute. I don't allow students to speak unmuting. There have been a lot of problems in the past. Okay, a lot of students misusing the unmute thing. I mean, they unmute and they talk all sorts of things that are not suitable in a classroom. So it has been a problem. So therefore, I do not let students to unmute. But you can ask me all of your questions through the chat box. You can chat with me. You can message me when the class is going on, or you can ask your doubt through WhatsApp. You can put a voice note or maybe type your question on WhatsApp. I'll respond to you. Okay. That way you can ask your questions. It's okay. You can ask as many questions as you want. All right. This is not school. I'm not going to get angry because you are asking questions. It's okay. Even if you have 10 questions, 10, 20, 50, no problem. If you ask questions, I'm happy. I'm happy because that's a sign that you're learning. That's a sign that you're learning. And if you are interactive during the lesson, when I'm asking questions, if you are replying to my questions, again, I'm happy. Again, I'm happy. Why? Because you're responding means you are learning. So I'm happy. Okay. So don't worry about the interaction thing. And the time for your class is the same time for 2026 A level. This would be the time, Monday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. for the next 2 years. Until your exams, Monday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And it will be continued until your exams. Okay, don't worry about that. Some parents have that fear. Will I do the class until the exams? I'm not that kind of person who goes abroad or who goes somewhere else, dropping every class. I'm not that kind of person, okay? Unless I fall sick. Unless I fall sick and I'm unable to stand up or speak, I will do the class. I will do the classes until your exams. So don't worry about that. Okay, I'm not gonna drop out your. I'd never drop out any class in the middle. If I start something, I finish it. Okay, that's how I am. And about the fees, a lot of students had asked about the fees. Fee would be 2,500 per month. There would be 4 classes conducted, and yeah, that's it. Oh, and one more thing. Uh, I would recommend you to do that. Usually in my physical classes, I keep monitoring the activity. But even for you, I'm telling this. When I'm doing the class, when the class is going on, I want you to keep your exercise book and a pen or pencil with you. I'm not going to give you notes to write, okay, because you have the notes with you. The books are there. Either you have the books or the PDF. You have the notes. But what I want you to write is you have to keep your exercise books with you when the class is going on and write down whatever I'm teaching in short notes. Just mark them. Don't write sentences. Don't write complete sentences. Just only some words, some keywords, just some words. Now, for example, if I'm teaching you about, let's say, this bottle, I'm telling you, this is a stainless steel water bottle, and this was molded by a machine. It has a plastic lid, and it is a rubber insulating cover over here that is a gasket, and there is a rubber holder over here to give us a grip, and it holds 1 liter of water, a lot of stuff. So if you try to write everything, you're going to miss what comes next. If you try to write everything that I say, you're going to lose certain things. So what I want you to write is, if I'm talking about this bottle, I told you it is a water bottle, stainless steel. Okay, write it like that. Water bottle, steel, plastic lid, 1 liter. That much is enough. Don't write sentence. This is a water bottle, stainless steel. It is made of plastic lid. No, don't write sentences like that. Keep it short. Short words. Why? After the class is over, after the class is over, I want you to create questions. I want you to create questions on those things. On whatever I taught you, I want you to create questions and write answers to them. Could be any type of question, okay? MCQ questions. What is this? What is that? Explain this. Briefly explain that. Fill in the blanks, matching, true or false, anything, any kind of question. I want you to create questions because that is one of the best methods of learning than going home and revising. Usually, your teachers might say that, right? You have to go home and revise. This is better than revising. Trust me, it works. Okay, this is one of the best methods of learning. And it is very best if you could do that within 48 hours after the class. Within 48 hours after the class. Why? Because you forget. From your mind to the subconscious mind. If you want something to sink into your subconscious mind, you have to do it as soon as possible and repeat the same thing within a short break. Okay. When time passes, it goes away from your memory. What did you have for breakfast day before yesterday? Do you remember? Can you remember what you had for lunch the day before yesterday? Well, for Sri Lankans, it's rice mostly. But what did you have with rice? What is the curry? Can you remember? So you see, we forget things. That's human, it's natural. So if you want to remember certain things forever, do this within 48 hours after the class. Okay? Yeah, so that's what I want from you. If you can do this, if you can create questions after every class and write answers to them, you're gonna be very successful. Trust me, you're going to be powerful, right? So one more reminder, like I told you earlier, if you have a friend or a best friend who is doing ICT, bring them also to the class so that if you are absent, your friend can join and you can learn together. Learning together is very successful. Very successful, guys. Trust me. Than alone. If you are working together, you can do much more, a lot more. So, or else, if your friend doesn't want to join this class, you join that class. Whatever the class that your friend is going to, you join that class. But you know the strategy, right? You can understand what I'm saying about the strategy. It's better if you have your friend also in case of that emergency. Okay. So good luck with your studies for the next 2 years. I will be with you. I will do my best to help you guys, to support you guys. And I want your cooperation as well, okay, to go forward. I will push you only if you are ready to go forward. All right? That's it, guys. That's all I wanted to tell you today in this introductory session. And now is the time for your questions. If you have questions, you can type it in the chat box and I'll respond to your questions. Well, if you don't have any questions, then we'll stop here. I'll see you next week then.